Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight in your chest. That crushing, inexplicable heaviness. Have you ever been so utterly, deeply tired that the mere thought of trying again, of pushing, of smiling, of performing becomes an unbearable agony? This is not the fatigue that a night's sleep can heal. This is the exhaustion of the very soul. It is the spiritual depletion that comes from holding yourself together for too long, having to be the unbreakable anchor, having to wear a mask of competence even when inside you are dissolving into dust. The world calls this a breakdown. It calls it weakness. It shames you for it. But Carl Jung, the great explorer of the psyche, gave it a name that changes everything. He called it the return point. This profound exhaustion is not your collapse, it is your destination. It is the final desperate, tender call from your authentic self, pleading with you to stop fighting and to come home. You don't need to try harder, you need to return. And this is the map back. We begin not in a state of crisis, but in a state of profound misinterpretation. We are steeped in a culture that treats effort as a moral good and rest as a sin. We are relentlessly driven by the mandate to do more, be more, and achieve more. When the inevitable weariness descends, that heavy, existential tiredness that gnaws at the core of your being, we immediately internalize it as a personal failure. We lash out at our bodies, we condemn our minds, and we force the strain, empty performance to continue. But if you could pause, if you could just stop scrambling for one sacred moment, you would realize this weariness is not a flaw. It is a language. It is the language of the soul. Think of those moments when the simple act of speech feels too heavy. When explaining yourself one more time or having one more conversation feels like lifting a boulder. This is the exhaustion of the spirit, accumulated from an epoch of relentless conformity. We are not depleted from manual labor. We are depleted from the psychological labor of holding ourselves together in the face of impossible, contradictory demands. You must be successful but humble. You must be kind but never vulnerable. You must be strong yet never show the cost of that strength. This constant tension is not merely stressful, it is spiritually ruinous. It forces us into a condition of deep dissociation, where the body continues to move forward on autopilot, propelled by pure inertia, while the essential, feeling heart is left miles behind, abandoned on the road. Jung's entire life's work was anchored in the truth that there is no coming to consciousness without pain. The moment of exhaustion is not coincidental. It is the inevitable consequence of living too far away from your internal truth for too long. The soul, your truest self, cannot use words to communicate its distress. It communicates through a deep cellular, bone-level fatigue. Your exhaustion is not a sign of your weakness, it is the proof of your soul's ferocious, enduring loyalty to you. It is the unconscious, knocking loudly and persistently, refusing to let you forget what has been abandoned. It is not trying to break you, it is trying to redirect you. Imagine your inner self as a magnificent, powerful river. It is meant to flow freely, but because you fear its natural power, perhaps you fear the sadness, the anger, or the vulnerability, you begin to build dams. You construct internal walls of endurance, denial, and strained composure to force the river to move according to a shallow, accepted map. The result is the insidious build-up of pressure. The river gathers, swirls, and pounds against the internal walls. The deep, inexplicable fatigue you feel is that pressure. You are tired not because life is complex, but because you have been holding back an entire river with nothing but the sheer force of your will. This fatigue is a desperate plea from the river, asking you to dismantle the dam. This is the moment of radical honesty. You must ask, what am I actually feeling? This question is terrifying because the answer might be, I am sad, I am desperately lonely, I am raging with unexpressed anger, or I no longer belong to the life I meticulously constructed. But this realization is not a failure. It is the moment the brittle outer shell shatters and the genuine unburdened self begins its emergence. The words of Jung echo, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. We are exhausted because we have traveled too far, seeking approval and validation in the external dream. Now the internal reality is demanding our return. Do not try to conquer this tiredness. Do not try to weaponize strength against it. You are not a machine of war. You are human. You feel. You hurt. You have the sovereign right to stop. Let this profound exhaustion become your doorway, a passage where, for one single precious second, you cease to perform and simply exist. A vast and consuming source of this soul, exhaustion is the heavy, suffocating mantle of the persona. This is the flawless, adaptable mask we construct to navigate the social world, the carefully curated self designed to ensure we are acceptable, praised, and loved. We learned early on that our genuine needs were inconvenient, our genuine tears disturbing, and so we mastered the art of playing a role, the ever mature one, the gentle one, the problem solver, the one who is always okay. This persona, while a necessary piece of social survival, becomes a terminal illness when it is worn for too long. Over time, you stop being the person wearing the mask and become the mask itself. You lose the memory of your true face. You start living not according to the quiet needs of your heart, but according to the loud, ceaseless expectations of the world. This is the most costly existence a soul can endure. You are not exhausted because you lack capability. You are exhausted because you have to manufacture laughter when your spirit is weeping. You are tired because you remain silent when your heart is screaming for expression. You chose strained endurance over liberating honesty. You insisted on remaining appropriate, untroublesome, and non-disappointing. And in doing so, you slowly, tragically suffocated the spontaneous, vibrant being inside you. Every act of self-betrayal, every time you suppressed a genuine tear or swallowed a necessary word, adds another layer to that psychological armor. The mask thickens, becoming heavy, inflexible wood. It no longer protects you, it presses inward, crushing your ability to breathe authentically. Your exhaustion is the fierce, revolutionary outcry of the true self, declaring, "I am still here! Do not abandon me to this wooden lie!" The road back is not a sudden, heroic ripping off of the mask, which would be too traumatic. It is a slow, quiet act of sedition against the role. Start small. Dare to use one sentence that is purely authentically true. I am genuinely tired today. Allow yourself one moment where you choose the vulnerable feeling over the acceptable performance. The initial feeling will be awkward, strange, even terrifying, a sense that you are doing something profoundly wrong. Embrace that sensation. That awkwardness is your soul shedding the old, confining skin. It is the first real breath after years of spiritual apnea. That is how the self begins to live again. Once you begin to chip away at the mask, the true work and the source of the deepest fear begins. You encounter the shadow. The shadow is not a monster. It is the sum total of all the dissound parts of your nature, the anger, the shame, the fierce needs, the boundless jealousy, the profound vulnerability that you learned through childhood conditioning were unacceptable and had to be buried. We fear the shadow because we believe that if we allow that darkness to surface, it will swallow us whole, turning us into a worse, broken version of ourselves. But the terrible, beautiful truth is that the shadow is not eliminated by refusal. It simply stands silently, using massive amounts of your psychic energy to remain hidden. Fighting your own self is the single most draining, energy-consuming battle a human can wage. The constant internal repression is what renders you perpetually exhausted, even when you are physically still. Jung's most powerful statement on this matter remains the ultimate guiding. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You do not heal by forcing positivity or by trying to manifest a better future. You heal by having the staggering courage to see clearly what is truly happening inside you. The science of the self confirms this. Suppressed emotions keep the sympathetic nervous system, your fundamental survival mechanism, stuck in the on position. Your heart rate is elevated. Your muscles are subtly tense. Your mind is fatigued. You sleep, but you never truly rest because you are constantly spending energy to police your own heart. The shadow does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to say, "See me. I belong to you, and until you acknowledge me, I will consume your energy." When your strength finally fails, you gain the opportunity to look at your shadow without the terror that once dominated you. You realize that facing it doesn't make you darker. It makes you lighter. You cease to be two halves fighting a war, and you begin the long, slow, magnificent process of becoming whole. You become less exhausted because you are no longer spending every drop of your energy fighting your own essential nature. There is a final, insidious exhaustion that stems not from things being too complex, but from the frantic, relentless desire to control everything. We try to calculate every risk, manage every outcome, predict every turn, and ensure every human being around us is happy, all in a desperate attempt to fend off the terrifying feeling of uncertainty. In this effort, we are not mastering life. We are merely fighting the shadow of fear itself. And as Jung warned, what you resist not only persists but will grow in size. The very act of clinging tightly to control is what exhausts you. You are standing in the powerful, ever-moving current of the river of life. The water flows constantly and naturally, but you decide that the water must flow faster or slower, according to your rigid will. You try to hold it back, to resist the current with the flimsy power of your hands. The water flows on unimpeded, but you are utterly drained. The river of life never gets tired of flowing. Only humans get tired of resisting the flow. Think of the mythical Sisyphus, cursed to push a boulder uphill forever. His punishment was not the physical labor of the stone. It was his inability to accept that some things are simply beyond human control. The more he pushed, the heavier his life became. Letting go is not synonymous with giving up, being passive, or abandoning responsibility. It is the ultimate act of sophisticated trust. It simply means ceasing to force the river to operate according to your small, fear-driven script. When you let go, you do not lose control. You create a profound emptiness into which a deeper, more profound wisdom, the intelligence of yourself, can finally step and take the reins. It is only when you finally collapse and surrender, when you whisper, "I don't know anymore, I give up," that the solution often appears unbidden. The mind cannot be clear while it is desperately attempting to stir the waters. Stop fighting the flow. Allow things to be exactly as they are. This is not resignation, it is a gentle, life-affirming acceptance that the universe operates on its own magnificent, non-negotiable rhythm. When you accept this, the mind softens, the tension melts, and the constant strain in your breath finally gives way to peace. Life has never demanded that you control it. It only demands that you be present in it. The ultimate reward for surrendering control is the realization that you need not effort, but stillness. Stillness is not an avoidance. It is the spiritual laboratory where the soul performs its essential, deep recovery. We are paralyzed by the fear of silence, the fear of doing nothing, because we have been cruelly taught that our value is inextricably linked to our productivity. But the soul, that quiet, knowing core of you, cannot recover amidst the noise. It heals only in the deep peace of stillness. In each of us there is another whom we do not know, Jung wrote. He speaks to us in dreams, and tells us how differently he sees us from the way we see ourselves. In the absence of noise, the unconscious mind begins the miraculous work of healing that the conscious, anxious mind could never achieve. Stillness gives your suppressed emotions the chance to surface and breathe. It gives your tangled anxieties the space to settle. Peace is not an external object to be chased. It is an internal state that returns when you allow yourself to stop. The ego, driven by fear and ambition, speaks only in a demanding, exhausting noise. But the self, the eternal essence of who you are, speaks only in silence. This is why stillness is not emptiness. It is the space where the single, necessary truth inside you can finally be heard. You do not need to quit your life and run to the mountains. Stillness begins with moments of deliberate non-doing, turning off the background noise, eating one bite of food without looking at a screen, placing your hand on your heart and simply allowing the breath to enter and leave without controlling or judging it. In those moments that look like inaction, you are creating the vast, necessary space for the soul's triumphant return. When exhaustion has ravaged you, the instinct is to search for a monumental, life-changing answer, the singular meaning of life, or a sudden grand purpose. But exhausted minds cannot bear grand questions. They only multiply the fatigue. Jung gave us the key. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. The soul is not nourished by theories or impressive truths, but by the smallest things that are infused with immediate, undeniable presence. When you are tired, you do not need to understand the universe. You need to return to what is slow, immediate, and real. Forget the grand purpose for a moment. Instead of asking, "What should I do with my life?" ask the smallest, kindest question. Can I just take one slow, unforced breath? The small anchors are the simple, powerful realities that pull the soul back into the body. The feel of morning light on your skin, the scent of fresh coffee, the sound of water running, the warmth radiating from a cup in your hands. These are not accessories to life. They are the proof that life is still happening, regardless of your effort. Healing and revival never commence with massive transformations. They begin with the small human rhythms. You do not need to feel better. You only need to feel a little present. Allow the morning sun to touch your skin as a gentle reminder that life's cycle continues, independent of your striving. Feel the warmth of the cup spread slowly to your fingertips, gathering the scattered, exhausted pieces of yourself. Place your hand on your chest and feel the heartbeat, not to analyze it, but simply to acknowledge, "I am still alive. I am still here." That is how the deep exhaustion fades and peace returns, not through desperate pursuit, but by allowing it to come back on its own terms. You will realize you do not need to search for meaning. Meaning will find you softly, inevitably, because true meaning has always resided in your ability to be fully present in the moment that is unfolding right now. When you have reached the point of utter depletion, where every cell in your body screams, "I must save myself," remember this deepest, most profound truth. You do not need to save yourself. You only need to stop resisting the natural, restorative process that your soul is already performing in silence. The human being is not an invention of endless striving, it is a miracle of natural recovery. Your breath continues without your command, your heart beats even in your deepest dark. The body and soul possess an inherent, unwavering intelligence to return to balance. The true tragedy is not that we don't know how to heal, but that we do not allow ourselves to heal. Jung gave us the definition of a lifetime well lived. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The exhaustion you feel is the precise measurement of the monumental distance you have traveled from this privilege. If you are tired of everything, what you are experiencing is not an ending. It is the return point, the necessary, violent, yet tender turning back towards your own center. You are not a warrior who must always fight. You are like the water after the wind. You do not need to strain to become calm. You only need to be left undisturbed. You are not lost. You are simply pausing on your journey home to yourself. The only thing required of you now is not to try harder, but to open the tightly clenched hand, the hand that has been desperately trying to hold control and solve everything. Open it. Allow life with its natural, gentle currents, a place to enter, to touch you, and to lift you up naturally, slowly, and with infinite kindness. If you feel this softening in your chest now, that is not an accident. That is your soul responding. That is the proof that you have stopped fighting yourself. And just that single moment of cessation is already a rebirth. When you are tired of everything, your soul takes your hand and guides you home. You have never been lost. You have only been on your way back to yourself.